Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 66 of Be With Me, Season 2. We're in a passage in Matthew where he goes off on the Pharisees and the scribes for 40 verses. And my initial impression of that was that, boy, I'm glad I'm not like the Pharisees, which is the most scribal and pharisaical thing you can say. And so I'm reconsidering that this morning. So I'm going to approach this like, hey, I am one of the scribes. I am one of the Pharisees. I wonder what there is for me to learn in this. 40 verses. My goodness, the Lord must have it in here for a reason. So today's title is, But Within You Are, ... But within you are, because there's this battle between the external and the internal. So I'm going to start with Matthew 23 and verse 24. You blind guides, straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel. Let me just summarize the first 24 verses where he's talking about you're majoring on the wrong things, you're majoring on the minors, and you're straining out little teeny gnats where you should be doing justice and mercy and faithfulness and love and integrity and a bunch of other things he goes at them for. All right, so today's passage, verse 25 of Matthew 23. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and the plate, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup and the plate, that the outside also may be clean. Verse 27, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For while you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly appear beautiful, but within are full of dead people's bones and all uncleanliness. Verse 28, so you also outwardly appear righteous to others, but within you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. I'm going to stop there because there's plenty in there for all the Pharisees in this particular crowd. So verse 25, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and the plate, but inside are full of greed and self-indulgence. So I want you to know that this podcast is being published, dictated by a person with their hair that has been combed this morning. In other words, my outsides were taken care of even before I did this podcast. And perhaps you are like that too. If your hair has been combed this morning before you've considered the Lord and spiritual things, then this parable, this warning, these woes are for you, but inside you are full of. So he says that in verse 25 that these guys are full of something. They're greedy for something. They're full of greed. And what are we full of? So let's think about these things. Are we full of greedy for our comfort or greedy for our pleasure? Are we greedy for security? Are we greedy for our beauty? Are we greedy for influence or power? Or maybe are we greedy for others' respect, people respect? Are we greedy for intimacy? How do we justify ourselves? And I read a book that talked about idols, and idols are usually good things that are gone to the extreme, and we make them bad things. And the way they say it, if you respond emotionally, generally you're on to something. If you can find something in your life that makes you angry, then that typically points to an idol of an unmet, greedy, in this case, need that you're having. So he talks about self-indulgence as well. And I wonder if on one of these days we could just be other indulgent, just giving and sacrificing and prioritizing others as opposed to self. All right. Verse 26, blind Pharisees, clean the inside of the cup. It's at this call to the interior work about making it a priority. If you get to something in your life that's difficult and disturbing and undoing, we talked about in episode 57, something that breaks you to pieces, that means you're probably on to something. We have this culture in my country, America, of this external work, image and influencing and beauty and everything, but not very much on the interior. So if we consider the inside versus the outside and consider faults and the difficulties and the things that are inside that disturb us greatly, we're probably getting to something. And this concept about indulging, don't we indulge ourselves? Don't we give ourselves a pass and say, well, I'm a victim, or I had a bad childhood, or I wasn't blessed with enough IQ units, or whatever. We give ourselves a pass. And I think this call to the internal work says, no, stop doing that. Okay, so the outside versus the inside, the hypocrisy, but within you are. So think about this. If we turned ourselves inside out and walked around and we had interior stuff on the outside, so would we look like love? Would we look like gentleness? Would we look like joy? Would we look like kindness? Would we look like service? Or would we look like greedy and lustful and fearful? So wouldn't it be interesting if all people would walk around inside out? Well, I was thinking about the Lord. He sees us that way. He sees us inside out all the time. He doesn't care what our skin is or our facial structure or whether our hair is combed. All right. So in conclusion today, let's consider ourselves as the Pharisees. At least that's what I'm doing today. And let's assess our insides and see what we're greedy for. Let's work on our internal appearance rather than having our hair combed. And this is, if you're dealing with this and you're encountering difficult things and being broken to pieces, you have my respect. And remember that this is the way the Lord sees us all the time. So maybe let's stop giving ourselves a pass. Let's stop being self-indulgent, and let's see as the Lord sees us, but within you are.